My background is actually in the utility industry. So I was a utility lineman for about a decade. Ended up building a trailer to do power washing. Winter came, you can't power wash in the wintertime in Ohio. And so we got a bucket truck to install Christmas lights. And after the Christmas season was over, we're like, what do we do with this bucket truck? And so we started installing some signs for some other sign companies in the area.
How is everybody doing today? I tell you what, it's San Diego and it's raining. I finally don't have good weather. I got crappy weather. It is what it is. You know, we always need the rain, but cloudy and muggy. And I will tell you that 2 nights ago, I hardly got any sleep because the wind, we had 60-mile-an-hour winds and it was whipping through the backyard. Every single time I went to go to sleep, all of a sudden it was just blowing like mad. So losing a little bit of sleep, it is what it is. Got a special guest on the show today. Trevor, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. We're warming up, so I think we might be getting close to you temperature-wise here in Ohio finally. Big thaw going on right now. It's really muddy. Don't love that, but the warm weather's nice.
Yeah, you guys are slowly pulling out of winter. San Diego's so late because we actually get our winter in February, March, April. It's the weirdest thing. Like everybody needs to shift their whole spring, summer, like 2 months, and then San Diego would be in point.
Sure, yeah.
But Trevor is the owner and operator over there at Vantage Signs and also Sign Service Pro as well. We're going to get more into that on the 2 different companies. I love hearing about this stuff. Now, Trevor, you have you took over Vantage Signs, I want to say about 4 years ago. How'd you get into it?
Yeah, so my background is actually in the utility industry. So I was a utility lineman for about a decade. Went into safety training for utility linemen as well. So I traveled all around the state of Ohio providing safety training to linemen and got caught up in life and got married, had a kid on the way. Traveling was challenging, right? So I started looking for something to get into. Had dabbled in a lot of side businesses up to that point, a lot of side hustles, and ended up building a trailer to do power washing. It was easy to get into, low barrier of entry. Building the trailer required me to get graphics on the trailer. And so that introduced me to a local sign company to get some graphics put on the trailer. And so that was kind of my first experience with a sign company, realistically. And winter came, essentially, and you can't power wash in the wintertime in Ohio. So we started hanging Christmas lights, and that really took off for us. And so we got a bucket truck to install Christmas lights. And after the Christmas season was over, we had a bucket truck that we can't install lights year-round for Christmas, obviously. And so we're like, what do we do with this bucket truck? And so we started installing some signs for some other sign companies in the area. And one thing led to another, and we eventually just started working our way into doing more sign work. And so we're really an install-first company. This is the way we started. And soon after that, we bought out a small vinyl shop in our area, actually the company that did the graphics on my power washing trailer, to start adding some production capability to our install side.
Gotcha. And that was Vantage, correct?
It was under a different name. So once we combined the Vantage, the vinyl company with our install side, we brought them together and called them Vantage Signs at that point.
Gotcha. So you had to have been like probably the coolest Christmas light operator ever to roll up in a bucket truck because nobody had that.
Not many people do in our area, and they still don't. I mean, us having our trucks and equipment available is still definitely a big selling point for us. We still do Christmas lights. I should lead with that. We've migrated a lot out of the residential market into the commercial market because of the capabilities we have with our guys' experience and the equipment that we have. Really takes us to another level there to be able to excel at that commercial scope of work versus residential.
That's awesome. I dig it. Absolutely love it. A sign company using the bucket truck for Christmas lights. That's a new one for me. I'm going to say that's a new one. And at this stage of the game, my brain's also spinning right now going, I wonder if there's any money in that. I wonder if I should be doing that.
There can be. Residential is competitive like a lot of service industries, but commercials, it weeds out a lot of the mom and pop, guys with pickup trucks.
Sure. I dig it. Absolutely love it. All right. So The bucket truck. So I've never heard of equipment that launched you into a career, into an industry off of the equipment that you own. That's awesome. I dig that story. It shows a true entrepreneurship right there because you're just like, okay, got a piece of equipment. How is it going to make me money? And you just went from one to the other to the other till you found your niche. I dig it. I absolutely love that. So you find yourself in a sign company, you get the Vantage signs and the service there. What did that first year look like for you when you firmly, started to kind of take over the sign company? So you bought a sign company, which means you didn't start it from scratch, which is great. You're diving in. It already has a clientele base. What did that first year look like?
Yeah, it was rough, man. So in a nutshell, it was a small business that had been around for a long time. The owners were close to retirement age, and so things were kind of on the downhill cycle of their business, definitely not the uphill. And so I walked in thinking, hey, how hard can this be to make some vinyl graphics, make some signs? I know we'll kill it putting them up. But I did not have any design background, no sign fabrication background. So it was a lot of trial by fire that first year. And even buying out a business. It was the first time I bought a business, right? A lot of learning experiences took place there in that first 6 months of that whole relationship as well. Definitely know how to not do some things next time. And so that first year was really rough for us. We did manage to grow, which was a positive thing. It was definitely anchored by the install side of the business. But overall, within a year, we were already moving buildings, having to kind of rebrand ourselves and all that on top of learning the industry. So it was a lot of quick punches for sure.
Yeah, I bet it was. And it's so funny. So many people don't understand when you go to buy a business, own a business, it doesn't matter. You have the accounting side of it and all the bookkeeping. You have the inventory. Then you have the HR side and handbooks and vacations and payroll. And of course, people want 401ks. And then there's the bread and butter, which you actually thought about when you bought this company, of production and what it looked like to build a sign. Like there's just so much that goes into it. And it's really easy to get into I'm going to say a rut, for lack of a better term, but a rut, and you don't see everything it takes to run a business. And then once you're the head, the buck stops with you. That's a new ball game. That's a definitely new ball game. A little difficult there.
Oh, sure. And, several of the things you just mentioned off, we did not have that first year. We didn't have a policy manual or handbook. We didn't have a lot of those things in place, but we're trying to grow. And you can only brute force growth for so long before that stuff catches up to you. And we found that point for sure.
It does. And it sucks too, because it's noise. I always talk about this. What can I do that's going to move the needle the most? And what is noise that I have to take care of, but it really doesn't move the needle? And a handbook is noise. Like I'm putting it in the noise category 24/7, but you have to do it. You got to do it.
Oh,
and
sure.
it's so painful. But at the same time, man, does it cover your six when you get a bad employee, though? It really does.
Sure. And we went through that. And so we had to implement one on the fly in a really quick manner to cover some things there. And so that was part of that trial by fire experience.
Yep. No, I could definitely see that on that one. So now that you're in there, you're cruising in the sign company. You and I talked earlier, so I know this answer, but I'd love for you to tell the story again. You broke your sign company into two pieces, two completely separate companies. And you went with Vantage Signs for the other one and Sign Service Pro for the second company. Talk to me about that. Tell me the story behind that and why you decided to do it.
Yeah, so we were still doing what we call third-party installs for other sign companies. National companies was a big part of it, but also local companies. And it was all under Vantage Signs. And we were still slowly building our production capacity. It was really still vinyl work at that point. And our install crews were headed out to a job for somebody else. And we had an incident on a local interstate. And we were extremely fortunate that nobody was injured. None of our employees were affected by it. It didn't affect anybody else. Even the equipment survived it, surprisingly. But it really opened our eyes up to the liability that our install crews created for us. It was a necessary evil, but they're out on the interstate every day with bucket trucks, trailers, equipment, all that. And so we really became aware of the fact that incident or something similar could really shut down our whole operation. And so that was something we started to evaluate and saw some benefit to breaking that liability off into its own entity. And then the other piece of that around that same time was some of our local install companies were a little bit concerned about our bucket trucks showing up. They're wrapped real nice with Vantage signs on the side, and their customer being like, man, you're a sign company, right? So why am I using this company as a middleman when I can use you for the whole thing? And we didn't want to poach their customers. Like that's not part of our business plan at all. We want to maintain a long, healthy relationship with them. And so by separating the business apart, it allows us to market Sign Service Pro as strictly an install company and service to other sign companies without appearing like we're competing with the companies we're working for.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. So I'm gonna put words in your mouth now, but you lost the cargo off the truck on the freeway.
Oh man, it was actually a skid steer came off a trailer going down the road. So the skid steer hit the pavement, bounced obviously a couple times. It was a wheeled machine. They said it went up on its side and then kind of like curved and like went off of the interstate down the grass, and amazingly didn't impact anybody. The closest impact was our own truck that was following it, and thankfully they missed it. They actually backed the truck and trailer up, loaded up the machine, went and did the job, and I didn't find out about it till the end of the day, which was its own conversation we had, right? After that. But amazingly, they went and did the job after that.
So the skid steer still worked.
Oh, we still have it. Yeah, there's a couple like bald spots on the tires from where it hit the asphalt. Oh yeah.
Oh my God, dude. So you that would have been your retirement right there if you had that thing on YouTube. That would have been your retirement to watch that thing bouncing down the freeway right there. That would have scared the out of me.
For once, the guys were actually saying they wish they had dash cams on the trucks because we don't currently do that. So that was kind of ironic. Yeah.
Oh, I was with the whole time we were telling that story, I was picturing like a 4x8 monument sign. I was like, that'd be pretty scary to aluminum thing bouncing around, but it's a skid steer. Holy moly.
It was an entire skid steer came off a trailer. Yep.
Woo. Okay. That makes people evaluate things. Okay. Now I'm on board with you. I completely understand that. And they finished they finished the job. I gotta give them a little bit of love right there that they finished the job, because my nerves would have been shot on that one to say, all right, we're okay. Load it up. We still got a job to do. Let's finish this off.
I mean, they made excellent time that day too. They got back early, enough time that we could look everything over and discuss it. So it wasn't like it set them back. I mean, they still killed it that day too.
I'm not a fan of drugs, but they took a serious drug called adrenaline, and it did work that day.
Just want to take a moment to talk about Square Coil here. Square Coil has been powering the signage industry since 2011, and we're only growing bigger and better and stronger every single day. Some of the latest updates have just made my life a lot easier. I'm sure it's going to make your life a lot easier. So if you haven't checked us out, go ahead and get on our website, squarecoil.com. Take a look. And if you have an outdated key, an old software program that's going to be closing its doors this year, definitely take a look at us, because we can make that transition real simple for you. Take a look, squarecoil.com.
All right. So you split the two companies up into the service and the manufacturing. Hindsight, was that a good idea? I really want to dive into this because I think a lot of sign companies should seriously consider this. And this is a great topic. I got to hear the story behind it. What made you do that?
Yeah, so the liability was a big piece of it, but so was the marketing aspect of it, being able to appear that we're not competing with the companies we're installing for was a big thing for some of our local partners. And what really came out of that was it provided some advantages to us that were kind of unexpected. So one of those big advantages that we hadn't foreseen happening was the fact that we now had a subsidiary install company that specialized in big installs. And some customers, when we come to them and say we're a full service sign company, they have the perception that somebody that does everything isn't great at all of it, right? And so now we have this company that we can turn to and say, hey, these guys are our professional installation partners. Here's what they've accomplished. Here's their track record. They're awesome at what they do. And so we're bringing in experts on your project to knock this out of the park. And a few of our customers have really appreciated that experience that we brought to the table. And so it gave us another perspective there to bring two kind of types of experience together as one in their perspective.
That's cool. So breaking that out really did help out with saying, hey, here's a pro over here for the install. There's a pro over here for the manufacturing. Like that's the takeaway. That's a big win for you guys.
Oh, absolutely. And it's made us more marketable on the install side to local sign companies too, which has been one of our growth strategies from the beginning. And so it really helped with that as well.
I'm with you. So what? So let's flip the coin. What's the cons? What are the problematic issues of having two different companies now?
So the cons are obvious. It's the exact same thing we just talked about. We now have two separate companies. And so when we sell a project ourselves as Vantage Signs, if we aren't deliberate about communicating to our customer that, hey, you're going to see a Sign Service Pro truck outside, I won't say Vantage Signs, they think that we're maybe not as big as what we actually are or not as competent as we truly are. So we've had to be a lot more diligent on our communication to our own customers to make sure they understand we're sending out Sign Service Pro. It is our installation division. It's just a different name. So that way they know what to expect. So we have to really be deliberate about setting that expectation. The other challenges, especially early on, was we're such a small company that we now split into two smaller companies. There's a lot of ebb and flow there between those two sides of the business, being production and installation. And so we were constantly having to move resources back and forth, money, people, trucks, vehicles, stuff like that. And so it was sloppy. I mean, the reality is we're still making it clean. We're not 100% there yet, but especially early on, it was kind of messy.
Gotcha. No, I'm with you on that one. I can see that. I can totally see that one. When you break up two companies, obviously you got two sets of books. So you got two sets of costing. So that's a pain. So you got to have a really good accountant on hand. Marketing wise, two websites.
We do have two websites. We've primarily focused on Vantage Signs out of the two. We finally have that one rebuilt kind of to a good place where we can still manage it and improve it, but the base is there. We're now working on redoing Sign Service Pro from really what's just a basic landing page to a true website. And so it's in that respect, Sign Service Pro is kind of like the stepchild. It's like over in the corner, the redheaded stepchild thing, because we don't have to market it a whole lot, really, because that's business to business, specifically sign companies. And so a few very directed efforts there accomplishes additional partnerships without having to do Google ads and stuff like that, like we do for Vantage Signs, at least not the same scale. And so we have historically put more effort into the Vantage Signs marketing side of things.
That makes sense. I could definitely see that. Yep. And so, yeah, it twice the amount of work, two different sites, get them rocking and all that fun stuff.
And it goes way beyond that. I mean, it's two fuel card systems, two employee expense accounts and systems in place, two payroll systems, two different workers' comp policies. I mean, everything literally is now doubled.
Yeah, that's a lot. If you were to go back and play this game all over again, would you still do it?
Yeah. Even though it's been a challenge and we've had some struggles, the outlook for the direction we're headed provides enough value and potential opportunity that I think it's worth it.
Gotcha. Fair. I like that. That works with it. And it's a good idea. It's a good concept. Like, it really reduces your liability from one to the other. It makes it so one company doesn't drag everything down. Like, there is a lot of positives to that. And on top of it, you're right. You get more market share. Now, have you ever been able to cheat and give two people two bids?
So that's a loaded question. It does occasionally happen. Realistically, it's usually not at the same time very often. It'll usually be like a bigger project for a GC that we'll quote out. That GC won't win it, and the GC that gets awarded the job might be another local company that we do installs for, and then they send us back an install RFQ for a project that we'd already quoted previously, so we're already familiar with it at that point. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does occasionally come through.
If I owned 3 or 4 companies, for sure I'd be throwing bids on it left and right.
Sure.
Hey, that's just being a good entrepreneur. Come on now.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to turn the opportunity away, right?
No, not at all. I mean, you really dive down to, what is there, like one pharmaceutical company, maybe 2 cereal companies, and they have all these different brands. Same. They get to play the game. We get to play the game. Like, it's the same.
Sure.
So you with all the time, sign companies all the time, the great ownership and debacle that we always have is, how much money do we re-spend inside the company? And how much do we actually get to reward ourselves for being owners and the headaches that we have 24/7? And it sounds like this year, in the last couple of years, you've done a great deal of reinvesting in your company and making sure that it has great growth potential for the years to come. Talk to me about some of the equipment that you purchased, and I would like to dive into each one and talk about each one. What's the first one? What's the first item that you bought?
Yeah, so 2025 was a big investment year for us back into the company. We bought quite an array of equipment to help grow our production side of the business. The first piece of equipment we were able to bring online was a CNC router, which was completely new to us. We didn't have that capability in-house previously. And so we went out and got a 5x10 router that has the knife system on it, the vision system so we can read registration marks to cut stuff off of our flatbed printer. So it's really set up pretty well for the market that we're in. And so that was the first thing that we brought on.
Sure. And what brand did you end up picking on that one?
Yeah, so ISA was a big year for us last year. We really shopped all the brands, went around, talked to all the salespeople that were there, really trying to narrow down what we wanted to essentially invest in at that point. And we ended up walking away with a package deal from CLN out of South Florida. So we got a router and a channel letter bender from them. And so that's what we ended up settling on for those two pieces of equipment.
Yep. No, I'm with you. And that makes sense. Probably the same software system that runs on both of them, so it's easier to program. Yeah, you get a package like that. That makes sense.
Same tech support is huge, and they're really good at tech support. They're smaller than some of the other players that are in the sign industry, but their customer support is awesome.
Yeah, well, good for them. I'm happy to hear that. We had a CLN back in 2002, and it was just such a first gen. Holy crap!
One of the old blue ones.
Yep. Old blue ones. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. That thing ran off of, I think not even DOS 95. I think we were even before that. It was like an Apple IIe running that machine.
Sure. And I don't know if you've seen CLN lately, but their branding's pretty sweet, man. The color scheme they put on their equipment now, it's like black, gray, and teal. It's eye-catching. It's not just that old blue chunk that you see sitting around on Facebook pages.
Yeah, no, I haven't visited CLN in a decade plus. So yeah, no, I'll have to check that out. So you did the router, which is huge. Just got the knife technology, which is bitching. Absolutely love that. You can move that on one. And then you went to the channel letter machine. Now the question I'm going to start fighting words here. Why did you decide to bring channel letters in-house versus just using a wholesaler?
So that's actually a really good question because we have some really good wholesale partners available to us in our area. And what it came down to was really some lead time issues that we ran into. We had a couple of deadlines that we missed on our end that were really consequential to us because we didn't control that piece of our business. And so we were trying to figure out how we can eliminate that going forward to allow us to grow but still be consistent in the services that we're providing to our customer. And so we don't intend to probably build everything ourselves. I mean, some of these wholesalers around us can turn stuff around in 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a really economical price for a basic set of channel letters. And so if we're behind, we still don't have a problem sending that out. It's going to be some of the more custom stuff and tight turnarounds or like really critical projects that we just have to make sure we hit a deadline. That's what we're intending to build for ourselves.
Yep. No, I don't blame you. I used a wholesaler once, and it was a big wholesaler, a national wholesaler. And the product that we had show up was so trash that I had to rebuild the signs myself. And after that, I said, never again. I got to have that quality be on point. I got to have it right. And so we went out and we got I don't even know, I call it an Adams Tech because that's what it was back in the day, 5 years ago. I don't know what they're called now. But we got the Adams Tech machine and love it. It's great. But we brought everything in house just like you did. But it was definitely a quality issue for us. We couldn't risk it.
And that's channel letters. When we look at like cabinets and stuff like that, if it's a custom cabinet, man, the lead times in our area here in the Midwest from a wholesaler is pretty wild. I mean, we're talking 2, 3, maybe even 4 months. And sometimes that's just not practical for a job that we've already sold.
Yep. Nope. I'm with you. No, that makes sense. And you got to control that. I mean, it's one of those things where everybody would love to be a broker and just middleman things and not have any stress, but that's just not reality.
Especially when it creates more stress, right? If they're behind schedule or it's not a good quality when it shows up and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Totally. What else did you buy?
Yeah, so around that same time, we brought on a paint booth. So we brought that online right around Christmas. That's been a game changer for us. We were trying to do a little bit of painting prior to that using a blow up paint booth, like a temporary deal that, you hook up the fan, it blows up like your kid's bounce house. There's zero air movement, so you get all that overspray falling as dust. That was challenging for us. So once we got a real paint booth up and running, it was like night and day for us. We're still learning the ropes there. So we have a young guy that's really good at what he does, still learning the paint system, still learning just what the expectation quality is. So we're still growing there, but we have a lot of upside potential.
Sure. And you guys, what was the brand of paint booth you ended up going with?
It's called Sunstar. It's out of California.
Okay, cool. And is it a downdraft or a side draft?
So they call it a downdraft, but it doesn't have a basement. It's just pulling off of one wall down to bottom.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm with you on that one. And how big was it? What did you guys end up going with?
Oh man, it's like 13 foot wide and 28 foot long. I think we can fit like a 9 or 10 foot tall sign inside of it.
That's big, super big. A lot of people don't have the tall paint booths, and man, it's a game changer. You got to have it. It's just brutal.
Sure.
I will admit that our paint booth sucks. It's so freaking old. Every single time we go to replace it, we're like, oh, we're going to move next year. We don't want to, buy one instead of move it. And we're always lying to ourselves. And man, our paint booth is embarrassing. I will say it's like the worst piece of equipment we have. So jealousy's high right now. You got a new paint booth. I'll tell you that. Very jealous.
And the other thing that I want to point out that's kind of unique, we upgraded a little bit to get a heating system in it. I thought it was going to be a gimmick. I wasn't real excited about hooking it up. But we went ahead and hooked it up anyways. It created some challenges on the electrical side that we had to overcome. But here in the last couple of weeks, we've had some projects that we were really tight on to get them pushed out on time. It's amazing how much quicker paint dries when you turn those heaters on, man. It speeds up that process like an unbelievable amount.
Okay, I like that. Okay, good to know that you got a heat system.
I haven't got my electric bill because it's electric heat, so I might not love it after I see that. But in the moment, it worked awesome.
I'm with you. There is a price we can put on time. It's an expensive price, but there is a price.
Sure.
Yeah, the paint booth, it's one of those things too. And it just kills it. You got an older paint booth like we did. We got an older paint booth, man. And I tell you what, if we don't change those filters out just regularly and keep it right on point and don't miss just not even 2 days, that will make a difference in the paint quality. And we just got to be on point. And that's the only part. I'm so cheap.
And even cleaning it. Yeah, I mean, you got to keep the floor cleaned up to make sure you don't have dust and debris blowing up into stuff. I mean, even with the paint booth we have, it's still a lot of maintenance to keep that quality level up where we want it to be.
Well, there's a lot. Future plans. I always ask this question to everybody that comes on the show. What does the next year to 5 years look like for your company? What's the next thing you guys really want to expand into?
Yeah, so we're still kind of wrapping up the equipment side of things. We actually have a new flatbed printer showing up the end of tomorrow, actually, at the end of this week. So we're excited to kind of incorporate that in with the other stuff that we have in place. And then we're kind of done spending money on equipment for a while, I think, and start making some money back off that stuff. So I would say the next year for us is going to be really big on finding quality people to add to our team to now make this stuff really hum, right? So we've kind of got this awesome fabrication engine built. We just got to get this thing running and keep feeding it. And so we need people that can operate this stuff efficiently. Sales is going to be a big piece of that. So we need to really dial in our sales process a little more, get a little more efficient there to keep this machine that we built busy. And so that's a focus for us next year. And then kind of the outlook beyond that is we hope to eventually wholesale a little bit. By no means like hardcore wholesaling, but there's a lot of local companies we're doing installs for. They're buying the signs from a local wholesaler, shipped them to us, and then we go install them. Why don't we just build that stuff and kind of keep it all in-house? One partner they have to work with, we build it, then we'll take it out and install it. So that's kind of where we want to go with that side of it. And then kind of a 2027 goal for us is to expand a little bit and build like a hub and spoke model where we can start having some satellite offices that'll help to feed work back to the hub and then send it back out to be installed. And that's kind of where this unique two business model, I think, is really going to benefit us. We can kind of lean on both of them to grow in different markets. but still bring the other company along with them, as far as, shared building space and utilities and stuff like that.
It's big. I like it. I think it's really, really good. And yeah, there's so many different ways to gain market share. You can beat the brushes forward. You can offer different venues or virtue or features. There's just so many different ways to grow. So I'm digging it. I really do. I think that's going to work out really well for you guys in the next 5 years. I'm excited to watch this progress. Trevor, this has been awesome, man. I appreciate you coming on the show and talking about this and sharing the insights there, kind of pulling back the curtain and letting other people listen to what you guys are doing in your four walls. It's always helpful, listen to what other people have. You either confirmed what we're doing is right, or we might think twice about the direction we're going and maybe pivot a little bit. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time, buddy.